We are now at Edfu Temple, and this is the first shot of the temple. You can see the twin stela and the huge Roman ruins here, absolutely in ruins, almost back to sand. See the huge compound here, so different from Colombo. The hassle has been quite bad, but nothing I couldn't handle. I'm now entering the temple. I seem to be quite lucky again, and not too many people here. A nice assortment of capitals as I'm coming up to the front gate. Some look rather Corinthian, and I think now that for sure the Romans got the idea from the ancient Egyptians. You can see the beautiful quality of the carving here up on the stela, up on the pylons rather. And in contrast, you can see the state of the Roman stuff here. It seems to be in a bit of a worse state than Colombo, and much worse state than Temple Luxor. Straight away you can see key cuts here in the stone. Sandstone, again black basalt pavement, and here a lovely piece of red granite. Different columns. And a lot of mud brick here made to simulate the Roman ruins. You can tell here the ancient and the modern mud brick. There is a huge group just arrived behind me, and if I'm lucky I should be able to keep one step ahead. Here we are, these massive pylons, quite spectacular. And here, by contrast, is some kind of modern air conditioning monstrosity, pumping air underground by the look of it. I wonder what's underground here. See the Roman ramparts. And the original entrance to the temple. Very similar in style, the carvings here to Medinet Habu. But in contrast, you can see the hairstyle there on the pharaoh, very different. Nubian, almost like dreadlocks. See here, Horus statue. Black granite. Another beautiful one here. Also in black granite. Strong wind, which you can probably hear in this film. See the drama. Some of the colour which is left here. Hieroglyphs aren't so well defined or beautifully done here. It's a nice one there at the baboon. Sekhmet holding a blade, or is it one of those baboons? You can see it has a tail, and two of those knives. One of them is raised. capitals, how they're cut in curved sections, and the quality of the carving overall. It's funny how it seemed to have flaked off in sections, as if it was in fact cut into some kind of coating to the wall, and the depth of the coating is what has caused it to flake off. This all seems to be red coloured here, red sandstone, as opposed to the whiter stone that you find in Edfu Temple. See the precision? And again, all the capitals are different. Faint echo here. The floor, made of various stones, various colours. It's quite uneven and worn. See the different tops on the capitals. Twelve capitals on each side, and some more Horus statues here, made out of black granite. I don't know if you can see up there's a whole line of baboons on that top cornice which have all been chipped out. In fact, the whole line of them on both sides. Chipped out. Like the statues of the humans with their noses chopped out so they can't breathe. This same statue seems to have had that fate, with his beak hacked away. Whereas this one on this side seems to have survived better. Much taller and still has his crown. Beautifully cut black granite. This beam here on the floor, on the threshold of this temple, you can see how worn it is. It's beautiful red granite, but for it to be so worn shows how many thousands of people must have crossed it. This section of the temple reminds me of Dendera or even Abydos. You can see the different columns and capitals. Some are done with papyrus reeds, some look more like feathers. You can see here a solar bark in what looks to be a litter, with a sanctuary temple still intact. First time I've actually seen a sanctuary temple actually intact. Notice the pedimental top. And you see the light vents in the roof, and I'm sure at certain times of the year they shine down and illuminate various depictions on the walls here. You can see the high shine on the sanctuary, and from looking at it I would expect it to be something like alabaster. See the beautiful depictions of Horus and the jet pillar, and also the hand holding the pyramid. I don't know if this is going to come out because there are some of these lights here which seem to affect how the film comes out. See the quality, and almost every statue here is Horus, but there's a nice Sekhmet statue there. You see the corn growing all around the base here, which of course is what's around this temple. There's lots of crops here, sugar cane, corn, cotton, everything grows here. See two interesting figures here. You see the bottom one with his ribs showing, and the top one without the ribs showing. Almost like for richer, for poorer. There is a tour leader in here talking to his group who are English. He has the most dreadful American accent, and if I'm lucky I won't have to hear it again. Interesting smiting scene here. The slave is being tied up. In fact, there are 5 slaves. You can see the outline to show you. There are more than one. The faces have all been hacked out, so it's difficult to tell which nationality the face would have been. The ancient Egyptians were very precise on how they depicted things, so it would have been quite easy. This is just like at Dendera, and I wonder if the same goddess Nut will be on the ceiling. A beautiful carving up there. Yes, there is a Nut on the ceiling. It's very hard to tell. You can see the feet over there on the right, and the body. This would be corresponding to the navel, and she would give birth to the son. Here is the body, and the breast, and the face, and the arms down this side. But it's in a terrible condition compared to the one at Dendera. In these temples where they seem to spend all their time fixing them up, I'm surprised this one hasn't had the benefit of being fixed up. You can see the blocks here with carvings from 1872, 1852, 1872. The carvings have lived longer than the people who made them. You can see how well put together these blocks are. Some you can see there's hardly a space between, but by looking at them I would think these have actually been reformed. Whereas some of these up here look to be in their original positions. There are some things shown here which I've never actually seen before. This is some kind of animal offering. You can see the feet and the tail, but the rest of the body is actually gone. You can see the testicles, but it looks like the animal has actually been cut up and jointed, because here is the leg. And here are the rest of the offerings. And these look to be like canopic jars. I'm off now into some kind of crypt. Again, very similar to Dendera. And you can bet your ass that they have looked down in the floor, similar to Dendera, for hidden passages. But as Robert Temple would say, they probably ain't looked well enough. See these Sekhmet statues here? I'm glad to see they've left the strip lights in place here and not changed them to those horrible mercury bulbs that seem to blur my pictures. But no doubt when these bulbs go, they'll be replaced by those horrible bulbs. See here the interior of a window. You can't even put a piece of paper between these joints. Here's a light shaft. You can see here priests, and we know they're priests because they have shaved heads. And they look to be opening some kind of a box. Or carrying some kind of box. Because here they are again. Got a very good shot here of the megalithic roofs. I don't know why the guy sent me up here because it's locked. In ancient times, walk upon England's mountains green. We're going now down the steps to the Nile. This is called a nilometer, I'm advised. You can see how the stones are cut here and how worn out the stairs are. You can smell the water already.
See?
Are you are?
This is water for the, now
Is it?
the Nile down, making down, up in here. Want to see?
Yes. This is where the people in ancient days would have come to take the water and also measured the level. You can see at the end of the passage the actual Nile is here. And
now water down.
Shukran.
Up in here.
Listen.
That's this nilometer.
You can see here these massive walkways and halls providing shade for those who had to walk here. This is a maquette of the entire temple. A maquette is a small replica of something like a sculpture that's going to be made, and this is how the temple originally looked. You can see the Horus on the top, and also a door above it with another Horus. As above, so below.
And Horus.
You can see how the walls have been selectively defaced, obviously in antiquity. And there's also some of these baboons that you see up Dendera with the same tails. But this one has no knife in his hand. Two again, just like at Dendera. This apparently is the hieroglyphic for the word Nile. See the quality here? And here was a man actually using a plough, and his oxen were sitting down. And here's actually an Anubis with wings. First time I've seen one of those. And the seed of corn, but this time with two sproutings. Again the baboon, but this time the baboon seems to be worshipping Venus. This is the symbol for Venus. see here the cross used in ancient times here. Cross. And the hare actually sitting on a pillar, on a plinth. I'm very fortunate again to have most of this temple to myself. There are over 4,000 hieroglyphics, and as there are only 26 mouth sounds, it's a wonder what they needed them all for. Apparently each item had 4 explanations, so that when you actually do find a hieroglyph for it, all 4 parts of the explanation are shown within the hieroglyph to make sure that the meaning is clarified. You see, this man has a jar containing fish swimming, and in this one he has little baby birds. There was quite a good picture there of the scales, but it's quite obliterated now. Tim, this is just for you. You can see all the plants which are depicted here in these rows, and no doubt you will be able to identify some of them. Some I can see look like thistles, and some look like dandelions, but I could be wrong. Here we have a nice depiction of a bee. This apparently is the glyph for pyramid, Pa Isis. Here is a very unusual glyph. You can see the way the man is bound, and you can see the sun with the obelisks, which are sun rays in stone. See the jet pillar. Interesting. Apparently the ancient Egyptians were famed for their cotton ropes, and here is a scene of several men pulling a net. You can see the net here, full of birds. There's a similar one to this somewhere in Saqqara, which I've seen, but the one in Saqqara is actually coloured in. Very strange stone plug here in the floor, like made of granite. See this vulture here, and things which look to be tools. There's a good depiction there of newt or mutt. It's from those words that we get the word nature. You can see how this pavement is cut and how the stones are irregular shapes but made to fit together. I'm sure if I had a spirit level it would be level too. You can see here, in amongst all the light coloured stones, you've got a nice granite slab, black granite. We're going outside now from the main part of the temple into the Roman style courtyard. And here, look what I've found. I have found blocks which are cut to go around corners. Here we are, this is an indentation in the front pylon, and this whole wall here, the blocks actually turn the corners, as does the bottom one there. You have to look hard to see it, but it's here, and in the lowest levels of the temple. See a very unusual gift there of a offering table with flowers. See a carving here of Bes. Dendera is the temple of Bes, and also here we have Horus. The stone has a very strange sort of crystalline outer covering, and the carving style is totally different from anything else here. You can see here on the threshold a lovely big block of black granite. You can see the papyrus growing here. Again, papyrus only grows in still water, so they must have cultivated it in pools. You can see here more blocks which are cut to go around the corners. Some with these irregular cuts in the top, as if some kind of marking to tell you where it goes exactly in the jigsaw. It's a small temple off to the side. See little sparrows here. The floor is incredibly uneven. It's an old staircase there, which had it not been blocked off I would have gone up. It's very interesting to see actually the interior of the walls. Notice the different coloured blocks here, in amongst the others. Nothing you see here is by accident. It is all by design. You can see here one of the solar barks on its litter, very similar to the one that's actually in the far sanctuary here. Very unusual piece of writing there, but no date. Notice how the floor sections are all odd shapes and made to fit together. and some more blocks that go around the corners. But the blocks are all of an even size. No polygonal blocks so far, apart from the flooring. See the statue here playing some kind of instrument, looks some kind of lyre. This is very interesting. This looks to be somebody's footprint. And like I found yesterday in Edfu Temple, a king sometimes has to put his foot upon the land to gain possession of it. And this looks like his footmark has been immortalized. This looks very similar to those moated temples. Robert Temple was talking about how a temple could be surrounded with water. You can see here the polygonal shaped floor blocks. You can see more keystone cuts here inside the interior of the stone. Notice this stone here has a footprint. It's a large piece of red granite and just tossed to the side. You can hear now the muezzin here calling people to pray. Time is 3:20, and I shall head back to the car. So here we are. This is Edfu Temple. It's the 27th of March 2012, and another very interesting day.